Breathing too heavy too.
No, we're on, brother. We're recording. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Live Fight, the podcast where we talk about the ups and downs, the highs, the lows, and all the things in between the big fight that is life. My name's Chris Harrington, and sitting alongside me is my co-host and good friend Daniel Denbraber.
Hello, everybody.
And Daniel, we got a guest today, my friend.
Yes, we do. I'm very excited for another guest today.
So this fella here, he pretty much when it comes to fighting, he's done it all. Former kickboxer, former MMA fighter, former boxer. Someone that I've fought on some of the same shows as, but never really actually knew him when we're both coming up. We actually met one day. He was standing on a door and I was about to stand on the same door as him. So, and then, we sort of knew each other and we had a lot to talk about, and I'm really excited to get him on for a chat today. Mr. Gul Pohatu, how are you, my friend?
Good, brother. I appreciate the call up.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
What are we going to maybe start with? You guys work together, obviously on the doors, a bit of security.
Yeah, the security thing. Always felt very comfortable when Gul was next to me on the door, mate. Have a look at the size of the bloke.
Well, we were chatting before, and what a beautiful specimen of a man. Hey,
46 going on 30, mate. Have a look at him.
He's looking good. So for people that can see the screen, very handsome man, eh? So fill us in with how you boys then met, and then maybe we'll go from there. Do you want to tee that off?
Yeah,
Chris?
bro. Give us a bit of a background in yourself with when it comes to the fighting and the sport and how you got into it.
I've always had that interest. When I was young, obviously Bruce Lee was who I followed back in the 80s.
Yep. Showing your age there, brother.
Yeah. So, I was always interested in that. I did a bit of karate when I was, I think, 8, maybe.
Yeah.
Watched the Bruce Lee movies. And then when I was about 15, I think I was, my friend said, hey, come to this gym. There's a thing called Zendo Kai.
Oh, the Bob
Jones. Bob Jones.
Yep. A lot of people started in that.
Yeah, so
a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. It was
Johnny Sheeter, all them. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like the MMA of that era.
Of that era, like the Bushido.
All the different arts, kickboxing. There was, I don't know, everything.
He was like for the Aussies. He was like the Bruce Lee of the Aussies. He took all the arts and put them all together. Yeah. Like all the way back
so
then.
there was it was in New Zealand, Wellington, where I was brought up, and so I did that for maybe 3 years. So it was like, I thought it was hardcore, pretty hardcore. We did kickboxing and sparred, and I got to brown belt, I think it was. And then, so that was sort of my introduction to real sort of martial arts. And then I would be doing a bit of boxing on the side, not really sparring. And then I came to Australia, and I remember the first weekend I went out, I was 19. So I'm 47 this year. So I was 19. I moved to Patterson Lakes.
Yeah.
And we went out to Frankston. And this is like late 90s, 97, 98.
Fucking trouble town, eh?
Oh, dude. And then I just remember seeing these guys fighting, like a real fight.
Just on the street.
It was like blood and punching.
Was this like a competitive fight? Or
just
on the
street.
street.
It was on the street. Yeah. I went out, and I'm 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Think, I'm tough. I know karate,
Yeah.
I saw this guy, and I had this shock.
Yeah.
It's like a shock. It's what the,
You can swear too, bro.
And I was like, and I felt vulnerable. I was like, man, that's scary. And then, anyway, I met a dude that night. Islander guy. He's one of my best mates, Junior. He gave me a number to do because looking for a job.
JT.
JT,
Yeah.
JT.
Yep.
And so I got the phone number to ring up the security company.
Yeah.
And then I started from there. So I was 19.
And was that at
It
the?
was like 21st Century.
Okay.
Those
I
venues.
was thinking back to the vineyard.
No, that was a bit later.
Bit later. Yeah.
So,
When you guys were going mad at the vineyard.
yeah.
A few good stories coming out of that one.
I was there for years, 15 years.
Yeah.
But no, I was there. So I started off 19, 20, 21 in Frankston. And it was just, we're talking 3-4 punch-ons a night, like on the weekend.
And so you weren't training in Australia straight away when you got here?
No, I was just, I just knew a few things.
Just training on the doors.
No, I used because my instructor in Zendo Kai is a Maori guy back in New Zealand. He was a bouncer.
Yeah.
So he would show me how we'd throw people out, So I'm just one of those people, you show me what to do, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I did it. So it was like this move he had where he was short and he'd like just jump at the guy, wrap the neck, and then drag them from behind, So anyway, so I was just known for that, just dragging people out, And back then it was, we'd have to take different shirts every night because you'd always get blood.
Yeah.
Like it was just non-stop.
No cameras back then too, man.
No camera.
The good old days.
Cameras? No, I don't know.
The good old days.
Yeah,
or less cameras anyway.
You were no license. Actually, it was a license, but you did have to do a course. And then, and cops were like, they'll turn up. Anyone dead? No. They'll leave, And the patrons weren't going to run to the cops. And there was no mobile phones. There wasn't that mentality of running to the police and, narking on each other. Just fight, go home.
Yeah. Well, now what shits me with the mobile phones, bro, is like, rather if something ever happens, someone's getting mugged, like two chicks are bashing each other, no one fucking goes to stop it. Everyone's first instinct is to get the phone out and just start filming it. Fuck, that does me, man. Does my fucking head in.
Yeah, and people now, they'll punch you. You'll hit them back, and then they'll go to the police.
Yeah.
And say, I've been assaulted.
Yeah.
Like it's the people are just rats. Like the people now just know no honor,
And the minors too, because they know they're minors. Like they're fucking running rampant at the moment because the young kids, because they've got that, like they've got that thing where they'll do whatever the fuck they want, and as soon as you got to do something to them, I'm a minor, So, but so tell us about where did you first start training in Melbourne?
So it was a guy I lived with in Frankston. His name was Corey, and Corey trained in Auckland, New Zealand, and he trained with Lolo, who's a Tongan guy. He was the one that trained Ray Sefo.
Yeah.
Clay, who was my eventual trainer. Mark Hunt.
Yeah.
That sort of line.
Yeah.
The guy that trains Israel Adesanya. They all come from this one.
Oh yeah.
Tongan dude.
Yeah,
Lolo
nice.
Hamona.
Yeah.
And he's in Auckland. So anyway, Corey trained there, and he taught me a little bit at home when we lived together, and then we ended up going to Kelly Seif, which is now XFC.
Yes,
and that was in Noble Park. And Kelly trained Clay and Phil Fagan.
Yeah.
Peter Haddon.
And he had a lot to do with the Kings of Combat shows. And
originally.
we fought on one of the same shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started there. I didn't really know what I was doing. Maybe,
Nah, none of us do, man.
I was, then I was there for a couple of years. I learned some stuff. Dean and Eddie Dallek were there. So a lot of good fighters were there. Rocky, his brother, D'Angelo.
Yeah. And how did you for me, I got into it because I used to get into a lot of punch-ons, and I'd win some, I'd lose some, but I'd lose a lot more, and I was sick of losing them. So I started actually training just to better myself as a little rat bag getting into fights. Yeah. But then after I started training, I hardly ever got into fights after that. Do you know what I mean? Was that sort of a similar thing with you, or?
Oh, look, I wasn't I like fighting. I'm not a violent person. I don't like beating people up, but I liked. What happened when I was younger? I got bullied a bit.
Yeah.
I think not more than anyone else, but I just hated the feeling of being bullied. I hated that
Vulnerability.
that vulnerability, being scared. I really like, and the embarrassment of that, someone having that over you. So I wanted to learn to just sort of not be in that position in my life. So, so I think that's why I started.
Yeah.
But then it was later on when I probably 24, I then went to in Dandenong. There was a gym. Peter Hannon was running it.
Fighters Express.
No, it was a police, like a PCY type thing. It was in Dandenong.
Yeah, but that was Peter Hutton.
He was running that with another guy, and I thought I could fight. Right, I got beat it in security. I was known, the man in security. I was, but then I went there and he got me to spar a dude. It was he was 16. It was Amir. Do you remember Amir? Bosnia?
The Prince?
No, his name was Bosnia. He was like 16, man, and this guy bashed the shit out of me. And I thought I was, this sick fighter, beating people up in the street. Probably had 200, 300 street fights. Never lost. And he bashed the shit out of me. And then, you know what? I then come back again. And not Peter, one other guy goes, he was surprised to see me. He kind of just used me as fodder for this guy. And then I just stuck at it. Yeah. Then I hooked up with Clay and we went to back to Kelly's.
Yeah.
And then that's where I sort of started for. So really late I started training, maybe 26, I reckon. And then 28, I had my first fight, MMA fight. Yeah. So I was quite old.
Started later,
very old to have my first fight.
Yeah.
But I've always been training, doing weights, running. So I was always fit.
Yeah. You still are.
Yeah. So I've always loved training, man.
Yeah.
Since I've been doing weights since I had a personal trainer in the late 80s. Yeah. I was an overweight kid. So I've had weights, played rugby. So I love training. And that's sort of my first fight under Kelly and Clay. It wasn't that I was good. I was strong.
Yeah.
I was never really that. I always say to people, I was never really talented.
Yeah.
I just was strong and fit. And I learnt skills on the way.
A lot of people say when they start teaching and like you're doing a lot of PTs and that now, you probably say you're better now, technique wise.
If I could go back with what I have now, I'd be a totally different fighter.
If only we could do that with everything in life.
Yeah. And I'm embarrassed. I got footage on YouTube and I'm just embarrassed because the shit that I'm doing then. Yeah. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like I'm a totally different fighter now. But, everyone could say that, I suppose.
Yeah. But that's everything, you fucking get more mature, you get more knowledge in life and fucking whether that's bloody fighting or fucking being a parent, fucking work and all that kind of stuff. You just vulnerably, you just get better and more knowledge, right? So I think that's
it'd be good thing. It'd be good if we could all do the Benjamin Button, mate, and like live backwards. You know what I mean? Like,
might solve a few fucking problems for everybody. Right?
Yeah. Well, it's like I always say, like, when you're in high school and you're getting out of high school, you got to go to uni. You got to make these really hard decisions about life. Like what do you want to do for the rest of your life? But you're in this position where you've got they're saying you have to make these decisions, but your fucking brain's not even fully formed yet, man. You've got these hard decisions to make that can change the rest of your life, and you have to do it when you're at your most immature,
Well, shit changes. And it's fucking, I'm in my mid-40s and it's fucking forever changing. We were chatting about it before that, in your 20s, whether you're fucking partying or fucking getting a job or whatever, and then now we were only just saying that my kids are getting older and my life's fucking changed again, right? So it's just all a step-by-step fucking process,
Yeah, that's right. When people are having kids and I have a daughter, I got 4 kids and they say, how do you deal with it when she has a boyfriend? And I said, man, this is my baby. I was like, I never thought this baby was going to have another man was going to take my place. And I said, you just adapt. Like, it's just, you have to. I mean, the fact is your daughter is going to be a sexual being, you know, and I just had to accept it. Yeah. Now I'm inviting the boyfriend around. Like, he's luckily he's a good kid. You know?
Yeah, well, that's right. I think
Lucky,
that's what's important.
lucky for him, he's a good kid, I reckon.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Very, very respectful boy. And I was like, you just adapt as you move along. You know, you're learning, hopefully, from your mistakes.
100%. Yeah, definitely. So Gul, obviously you're going through with your fighting and all that kind of. How long did you fight for? You know, like how many years were you active for?
I think everything's better than you, longer than you say. Like, I think it's, you know, you lose track of the fights. I think it was around 20 fights I had.
Yep.
Professional.
Yep.
11 MMA fights.
Yours was very off and on though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't like. Look, my goal really, my fighting goal was really never to be the best. I don't think I was. You know, I never claimed I was the best. It's just I wanted to fight 3 styles. I wanted to do kickboxing, MMA, and boxing.
Yeah, which you
That
did.
was just my curiosity,
which
I did.
What did you like the best out of those 3?
I think I suited MMA better because I wasn't good enough to be a boxer. That's what I always felt. Kickboxing I liked because my hands were better than most of the kickboxers. So
you could use that as a bit of an advantage.
Yeah. But the issue was doing 3 all simultaneously. I'm never mastering one.
Yeah.
So I think the MMA was just I was able to express my myself with a little bit of lack of technique. You know, I just put my fist on their face. You know, it was a simple thing. And being a heavyweight, you know, it only takes the 1-2 shots.
With the MMA, it's like it's not a specialized thing.
No,
you know, that's why you see the MMA guys, they'll go into boxing and they just don't do as well because when you're just training that one thing, that hands, those guys learn about inches. Do you know what I mean? Inches, like moving that 1 too many inches can be the end of it. Yeah. And it's just so specialized that they've never, it's not like that when they're training hands in MMA, you know? But
that's why people always ask me, which one is harder? Is it kickboxing? Obviously, it matters who you're fighting. The opponent is really important.
I don't think they're hard or not. I think it's just different.
They're all different. I think boxing is hard because, like all sports, your goal is to create space.
Yeah.
And with boxing, you've got 2 weapons that you've got to create that space. You know, with kickboxing, which is why I like it, because when they kick you, they're creating the space for you. So there was more space for me to use my hands.
Yeah.
So I found boxing hard because I have to create the space, and then kickboxing was a little bit easier, but it fucking hurts. You know what I mean? Like, it's painful.
Yeah.
Like I found kickboxing very painful.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the kicking so much.
Yeah.
I know how to kick, but I didn't really. And because I wasn't drilling kickboxing solely, I wasn't using those tools properly.
You weren't getting the conditioning as well.
I wasn't really getting it. I wasn't able to let those things work together. So, you know, certain fights I would have, I should have kicked more.
Yeah.
Not because I want to hurt them with my kicks, but to open up for my hands.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so that was I think the issue was when you try and do everything, you're never going to master.
Yeah, jack of all trades, master of none.
Trades.
Yeah.
You know? And lucky I was strong, and I would win those fights with just being strong.
You don't look strong. I was going to say, if I had fucking hands as big as yours, I'd be trying to put them on people's faces as well, mate.
And then and then after we were chatting before, you're a PT, still doing a bit of the security and stuff. So then the fighting goes away, and you know we chatted about this the other week with one of our other guests, and I think a lot of fighters or athletes, that stops. I don't know whether the thrill goes, the rush goes, or the identity goes, and then you're PTing or you're standing on the door and doing all that kind of stuff, and the mind starts wondering, right? So, how'd you go with the transition from fighting and PTing to then PTing and then being on the door? Was that a big change for you? Or?
Yeah, bro. I'm still going through it. The last fight I had was 8-9 years ago. It was in Taito Ivasa for the UFC.
Oh, yeah.
It was in Sydney.
Yeah.
It was 9 years ago, and you would think I'd be over it by now. But the problem is you're seeing young people fight now, and everyone's talking about, hey, do you see this guy? He's the best. And in my head, I still got that fighter mentality. It's like, no, I'll fucking smash him,
Yeah.
But I'm still struggle with that.
It's the ego, bro.
People look at you back then. Oh, he's a fighter. Talk about you. You feel you're the man.
Ego, brother.
Ego. Yeah.
It's funny, like the ego never goes.
Never goes as a fighter.
But what
the body does.
But what feeds the ego, like being the man in the gym, being on the shows, and that's gone. But the ego's still there. So sometimes, I know for me, I started looking to feed the ego in other ways. And generally those other ways weren't good.
Not good ways, So I would, it's depressing, man. Like it is. There's nothing like fighting. Nothing will come close to that, man. That you are the man, especially I find being a heavyweight, and I was main event,
Everyone's excited to watch it, right?
You just stand there. People, you can see even, you go to those shows and there's these bikies and tough dudes that normally would probably staunch you out just on the street. But they're like looking at you, they're stare, oh, look at that, like they're admiring you. Like you are the man. And then, now you're just another Joe Blow,
Yeah.
And that, I was saying it's like because you can't fight forever, right? No. Like fucking nobody can because the body gives way or whatever. And then, so like it's just another, let's say, step in life or another phase in life. And that's just eventually those cards get given to you, whether you're lucky enough to do it on your terms and say, I'm retired, or whether, it's an injury or something like that forces you to retire. Then what, you're forced to deal with those cards. How do you deal with it?
As I said, I'm still dealing with it, but I still train. I suppose because I'm working as a trainer, I'm still involved in it. I never have the going to the shows. I don't go to that. I don't like that. If I go to a show, I just feel the nerves. It's
just so you're going on. You say I don't go to the shows, and I find it interesting as well. Is that do you hate the sport? Do you hate fucking the limelight being maybe on another fighter, or do you go fuck I want to get in there, or like why?
Yeah, that I think that is. I see the limelight's on someone else. I'm frustrated. I feel like I can still do it, even though I know I probably can't.
Do you blame anyone for it? Like, do you go, oh fuck, that's my gym or my fucking coach, or
I've always tried to have that mentality to never blame anyone.
Yeah.
If I'm not busy at work, I could blame the owner of the gym. It's not his fault. I can do it myself. I'm not that kind of person,
That's good, man. That's
my
healthy.
trainer, I don't blame him because he didn't train me enough, or
But do you reckon there's not a duty of care, but do you reckon there should be more information provided to fighters or athletes to go? Because because it's literally blood, sweat, and tears going into fucking training, fighting, and all that kind of stuff. So you give it everything, you know, and then it's finished, and it's like, you know, this is fucking all over, and I've given it everything, and I've got whatever 50, 60 years, whatever worth of life here. What am I going to fucking do, right? And do you think if someone said to you like, listen, you know, take this limelight for what it is now and enjoy it and all that kind of stuff, because it's not going to last forever. Make sure you're fucking getting out and doing fucking gardening or whatever to fulfill your mind and have a bit more, I'm not saying balance, because if you want to be successful in fighting, you've fucking got to put everything into it, you know? But, you know, they train whatever 6 days a week and then 7 days, and on the seventh day, it's, let's say, a rest day. Is it okay to, you know, maybe train 5 days a week and fucking have one day that, I don't know, you go on surfing if that's what fulfills you, or you make fucking
just
a fence or something.
To have
you know,
something else
mix it up.
in your
I wish
life.
I had that information. Yeah. Oh, well, there's so much information I wish I would have had. I don't think I had the... I had to work at the same time, and my trainer was somewhere else. I definitely never got the best... I just did what I had to do, which I feel like I did it right for, man, I could honestly tell you that I got hold pads for me in my whole career 10 times. Pads.
People at my gym listening to that, when I fucking hold pads and my fucking shoulders are fucking killing me, and I say a couple more rounds, fucking say thank you next time, you fuckers.
Yeah, exactly.
I get 10 times, but like you probably get held 10 times in a month normally, you know what I mean? That was in my whole career.
Wow.
I would have to use a bag and just imagine that's the pads, you know, trying to make the intensity myself. So there's so many things I could have done better, but I'm not going to blame anyone or anything, because it's just is what it is, man. I feel like I got so much out of this, out of fighting, you know, personally, mentally, and my confidence. So I got so much out of it, man. So
yeah,
I'm not going to blame. I wish it was different, but I'm not going to blame anyone for it, man.
And let's touch on those things. Like you say, you got so much. You know, you said you got 4 kids, and you know you're working, you're fucking fit, healthy, and let's talk about the good things, because there are so many things like confidence, fucking fitness levels, fucking mindset. You know, of being mentally tough, because fucking, as Chris said before, life throws you all fucking sorts of curveballs, right? So,
like, what have you taken from fighting that you've learned from fighting and training into the real world?
Well, obviously, I'm not scared of any. I'm not scared. I'm not scared if I go into a dodgy situation. You know, I can protect my family. Those obvious things.
And hearing you chat earlier, and you go when you're in Frankston, and you're like, "Fuck, I think I could fight," and then you see those guys going for it, and you're like, "Holy shit!" And then now, fast forward to, you know, in your mid-40s, and it's like, fuck all these guys, you know, or girls, or the fucking cats, or whatever the fuck's going on out there.
Man, when I do see, like, for instance, even though I'm probably physically less capable, I'm not sparring or whatever, but if I do security, for instance, I feel invincible. You know, I've got that confidence. I can walk in. I don't care if it's 10 huge islanders or what, you know, 10 bikies or whatever. I just have that confidence. Might be diluted, but
hey, I had that confidence too when I was standing next to him on the door.
I would too. Yeah.
and I can stand there and having that confidence. But I never use it. But I mean, I now can talk. I learn how to talk.
I reckon though, having that physical, like, when you know you've got that physical advantage, right, and you've trained and all that. Like I said, when I started training, I stopped getting into fights.
Yeah,
because of the confidence. I didn't think. I think when I used to get into fights when I was in my younger days, in my teens and my early 20s, it's because I wasn't confident. I was always trying to, like, make up for, you know,
That's also the respecting of the sport too, right?
But then I reckon when you've got that training behind you and shit, a lot of people, they sense something about you. Like when they're have an altercation with you, they just see something in you where you're not scared at all, and that kind of like backs them off. Do you know what I mean? Did you ever find that? Because that's what I found a lot.
I think
I didn't even have to do anything. All I had to do was just talk, and people would usually just back off. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
It's authentic. You can see when I'm talking to people, they just see it in my eyes, and I mean it.
Yeah,
like it's authentic. So, yeah, no, definitely that side of things. What else would it have helped me?
Like like I'm big on the mental side that I think, I'm talking now Muay Thai, what that brings, and I listen to someone like yourself talk, who I just kind of in awe, and I go like, and I would love for fucking my students to meet someone like you, because I just think they're just, I'm not saying that fucking the new age is soft, but, and we talk about it all the time, is you go, oh, I didn't want to be scared. I want that mental toughness and blah, blah. And you build you as a person. And I know we talk about Instagram, right? And sometimes I feel like the fighters do it for the wrong reason, because I feel like everything's lived through Instagram, and whether that's a fucking holiday or a fight or whatever, they want to post the fucking in the ring, center ring.
For clout a lot these days.
Yeah. Whereas you're going on about mentally,
he did it for himself.
Did it for you?
Yeah.
And tested yourself mentally. And I don't know, like, do you reckon the new age are a little bit not softer, but are they?
It's just different. It's just we've just grown up differently, man.
That's all. Fair.
It's hard. Like we remember when, the Nokia 3310s, man.
Yeah.
There was no fucking Instagram photos and posts on all that shit. So I think whatever we did, we really did do either for ourselves or just for our small circle of people that knew us. Whereas now, not everyone, man, but it's also, it's a time of self-promotion, whether it be, girls promoting themselves in fucking bikinis or whatever it is. It's all about self-promotion. It's all about trying to make yourself feel better through fucking, look at what I've got, look at what whereas I think it was a different time. Yeah, it was a different time back when we started. I don't know. It's
and when you mentioned before, like, you see the fighters on the, let's say, the screen or whatever, and the purses the purses probably haven't changed fucking too much,
No,
that's
the dollars,
discussion.
they've gone higher, but the dollar's gone,
I don't know if those fucking purses have gone higher. Like, fuck, man, like, I think I can say this is some of the pros Muay Thai are fucking getting $300.
Well, what did you make your first pro fight?
Nothing.
Pro, yeah.
I made nothing.
Even pro?
Sorry?
Even like pro, not amateur. Well, we didn't have amateur. We didn't even have amateur back then.
First fight was in Chelsea Heights MMA fight. They didn't pay me at all.
See, that's where I find it really strange, like you're right, is there was pros, that's it, right? And then now, like, which they're really lucky, and I'm only going on Muay Thai, where, you got like Muay Thai Victoria and the Hammer and all that kind of stuff.
Which is a good thing.
It's a great thing.
It's building that, it's like having Oz kick in footy. It's building the grassroots of the sport.
100%.
And you don't get hurt. Like, I remember my first two fights were like with shin pads, but they were with, 10-ounce gloves. You're still not trying to knock. There was no, softness. You were still trying to knock each other out. Some people that will scare you away. If your first fight's a hard fight, you're done. Whereas now it's all padded. The referees take a little bit more extra care of the fighter. I think it's great for the sport because it doesn't scare you away.
Well, no one's getting KO'd at these things, So
is this amateur kickboxing.
Yeah, like they're doing the amateur scene in Muay Thai is sort of really getting a lot bigger now. You know, they're kind of doing it like how they do in a lot of other countries with the shields and the bigger gloves, the elbow pads, shin guards, all that stuff.
Big in Europe and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Some of these amateurs fucking had 150 fucking padded fights before they turned pro, you know, and they're fucking killers.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
MMA is doing it too, aren't they?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, there's some MMA shows where they're doing the pads and I don't know how they do it with the gloves.
well,
But,
I
yeah.
I didn't.
But
go
I think
to
it's
this.
also just a duty of care thing too. Like the referee's not necessary. It's more about showing your skills. Like if you sort of people, yes, can get knocked out, but that's not like the aim. Do you know what I mean of it all?
It's a bit more than an inter-club, is it? More.
It's Interclub was like the only real thing we had. Like for those that don't know, is like a gym spar where you just sparred people from other gyms, and it was like low contact. But yeah, it's just like one step over. It's in between that and actual pro fighting. So there's a big push on that at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
I knew nothing in my first fight. It was an MMA fight. I don't know if you know much about, but I didn't even know what an underhook was. And I'm having my trainers didn't know anything.
Yeah.
There was no MMA. You couldn't, there was no, I'd never seen the MMA glove until the night of my fight. You couldn't buy it at Ripple Sport or, I knew a little bit of jiu-jitsu, but I was really going in raw. Just luckily, I underhooked the guy who's trying to take me down.
Underhooked, and you didn't even know what the fuck it was.
It just made sense to me,
Maybe picked it up from rugby.
Yeah, so that was I didn't know anything. So that sort of stuff would have been good.
Yeah.
But there was no MMA gym. There was nothing around those days.
Well, we had Murph on, and he said he had 2 training sessions and was just at a show. And the guy's like, "How many times have you trained?" And he's like, "Twice." He's like, "Do you want to make some money tonight?" He's like, "Yeah, all right." And he just went in and fucking got his head kicked in and fucking.
And I think he fought the following night too, right?
Yeah,
With
I think so.
Banged up leg.
So.
Like you said before, that luckily I won. Or maybe if I lost, I would never do it again. It was a bit of luck that I won. I won again, and then it just flowed from that. So maybe the luck of who I fought and the result maybe.
Is there a phone going at the moment?
Oh, is that me?
I think so. It's all good.
Yeah, no, that's it was definitely very different or whatever. So I get all that, but
what I think is great though is like, unlike a lot of people I speak to, I would consider you more of a martial artist than a fighter because you still, it's something I've spoken to my old trainer Hammer about. Like he never had, heaps of fights or anything like that, but he's a martial artist to the core because he still wants to do the training every day. I see you.
and to better the sport.
Yeah. And like I see your Instagram and you're on the bags and still training, like, and obviously you're fit as fuck and, and I think that's mad. Like that's what it's about. Like just it's in you, it's never going to leave you. I guess you'll be training until you fucking can't walk no more.
Trying to improve I'm still improving myself now, I'm not like a martial artist as in I have these awesome kicks or anything like that. I use what I have, but I'm always trying to improve myself, stay fit. I'm always trying to train in case I get into a fight.
But I'm also guessing you do a lot of it for up here too.
Yeah. There's, man, I'd be depressed if I couldn't train.
Yeah.
It's a huge part of always been a big part of my life.
Yeah, well, I think a lot for people with a lot of mental struggles, man. Like there is nothing better you can do than work out whatever it is, weights, whatever, just training.
Going from the fighting and we're talking about mentally fulfilling your mind or your mind going fucking bananas, let's say. you said nothing's going to replace the fighting, but you're still training every day. You know, is that enough to keep the mind kind of ticking, or like where's that sit? Where do those two things compare? You know,
I think it's that knowing that it's over, and my kid's getting older, and I'm getting older, and thinking about mortality, my life coming to an end. I sort of struggle with that now. So, I might. What happened, right? The reason I stopped fighting is because I damaged my neck. So I have a thing called cervical stenosis. So the nerves of my neck are kind of, from all the trauma of getting hit. If I get hit, it's like I have whiplash because my nerves are compressed. So that's why I stopped. So then I started taking pharmaceutical drugs for that pain. So I was on it every day. Then so they'll give me stuff like Tramadol.
yeah,
And then I found I was feeling good with the Tramadol. Like it was like an upper, like it was almost like an antidepressant. I never really believed in depression, but I would feel fantastic on it. And then I would start using it more for that when I'd work security because I actually hated it. And it was quite depressing. So I'd take that just to go watch my kids play basketball. I would have Tramadol, anti-inflammatories because of that.
So you're abusing it.
I was abusing it. And then what happened is I started getting stomach issues from it. And then I started getting this inflammation issues. And I'm still suffering from that now. So
yeah,
I
right.
damaged, so that abusing that, I would do security, and what we would do we would work, and then we'd just binge drink at the end of the shift, like 1 or 2 hours, just binge drink, because that was a kind of thing back then.
And was this to replace? You doing these things to replace?
To find some sort of high, unnatural, quick high that you would get from fighting. Well, when I was fighting, I wasn't doing these things. I was just working, training, fighting. I had something to focus on.
Yeah, goal. Yeah.
And then I'm getting this quick high from drinking and these drugs, so would be drinking after our shift and then driving home, smashed.
Yeah,
all of us, and then, so yeah, these things are a constant issue. Even to now.
I was going to say, how long was that going for?
I don't even know, man. It's been since my last fight, so 7 years.
Yeah.
I'm not. For me, it's an issue. I don't drink a hell of a lot, but lately I have. Like at the end of the night, you're like, because life's quite mundane, man.
Yeah,
it's repetitive. As you get older, it's even done it for so long.
No shit.
Just want this little bit different feeling.
Yeah.
Not that I want to stay like that, but
especially when we're all parents, right? And your kids fucking, and maybe that sometimes fulfills a little bit of time. It's like, fuck, alrighty, I've got to fucking run them to soccer. I've got to run them here, and you kind of, your mind's probably going and racing because you're so busy running out. And we were chatting about it before. And like me personally, like my kids are now getting older, then the fucking mind comes back, it's fucking spinning, righty, I need something else to fucking charge me, it's...
What do we do? I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Well,
I think we're all working that out, and that's why we like chatting about it, because fucking, I think everyone fucking has to deal with
I don't
this
even
shit.
think it's an ex-fighter, ex-sports thing. You could have had, been in your 20s just going out all the time, and then all of a sudden...
Correct.
And you made... Society's telling you you've got to be an adult and you've got to act a certain way, and a lot of the time, it's fine, but sometimes you just don't want to, man. You just want to fuck off and just do some dumb shit. But
because, like what you said, Gul, it becomes mundane and boring, and if you guys have been in center ring, that's exciting. You know, even just going to the show, it's fucking exciting. Right, fuck, look at the shape of that. Who's going to win? Fucking that guy's big. Oh, he's got fucking strong legs, blah, blah, blah. It's all exciting. We get into our mid-40s and fucking I'm having a cup of tea on a fucking Saturday morning, you know? Fuck that shit.
Fuck that shit.
Look, I enjoy watching Netflix at home, but then also because I am very disciplined with my training. I train every day. I love it. I do my weights, but then I just want to write myself off. So I just want to. I'm like I'll do that. Then in 3 weeks, I'll just binge drink and just totally write myself off, and then I reset again.
Yep.
You know, like I'm not doing this I'm not drinking every day.
Yeah.
But I just find because I'm a disciplined, repetitive type of a person, I eat the same food, I train, I do weights 5-6 days a week. I need to get.
So I'm going to say,
smashed.
I'm going to be a bit of devil's advocate on that, right? I'm going to say, so is there anything? I'm the same. Every now and again, like I'll be very disciplined with what I do, work, being a dad. Every now and again, I fuck up. If you enjoy that, does that make it a bad thing?
No, it's not. I don't think it's a bad thing because I think every fucking.
But also, so why, right? Why if I fuck up and I look at my bank account the next day and I've got nothing in it, like even though I've gone through this forever and I always bounce back, why am I so fucking depressed when it happens?
Unfortunately, mate, money fucking makes the world go round, and there's some greedy fucking people out there, right? And I'm going to go back to socials as well. Is like if you want to go to fucking, I don't know, Europe, that costs money, you know, and everyone looks at fucking radios, getting on a plane, fucking drinking red wine or whatever. Money makes the fucking world go round, and same thing is when you're having that big bender night, everyone's posting that on Instagram or whatever. And I think what the discipline needs to come into place is that, whatever, if you're making 10 grand a week and you're fucking spending 5, right, and having a good time, that's 5. You got 5 spare. But the problem is people that are making $1,000 a week, they're spending 5 grand to look like the rock star on Instagram, and they can't afford to do it, right?
Yeah.
And I think you got to be disciplined enough to go, well, first of all, live within your means. You know, I'm not saying that you fucking don't do that. You know, I'm just saying
I don't even put my shit on Instagram, man. I think it's just something in my head sometimes. It just wants to fucking
have that night,
jump out and just fucking.
That's okay though,
and just go fucking a bit ape shit, you know. Like
that's all right. I reckon.
Are you saying you're depressed because you don't have your money in the bank after you have these big binges, or
that, and I'm just guilty, you know. Like, because you work so fucking hard, man, to try and get ahead, and it just takes one fucking dumb decision to put yourself like 1 step forward, 2 steps back, you know. And I don't know, like I used to blame. When I started training at Daniel's gym, I hadn't trained for like 3 years, and the reason I could go back into the gym was I finally stopped blaming the sport. I blamed the sport for a long time for the way I was. I remember when I watched that fucking Will Smith movie, Concussion. That fucking got in my head. Like, because I started thinking, fuck, these guys, they've got that CTE, they're doing all this erratic shit. And I was like, I'm a fucking really erratic person at times, you know? And that started playing on me. And I just blamed the sport for a lot of my fucking mistakes a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And then it was only until I sort of, I've tried therapy. I've tried a lot of that shit. I can't stand it, man. Like, therapy, I hated. Like, I wanted to choke the fucking therapist, man. I tried different fucking therapists. Like, I couldn't handle it, bro. Like, I'd rather sit here and talk to some people who have fucked up rather than some cunt trying to tell me what he knows from a book, you know what I mean? But, like, I don't know. Just one day I just stopped. I just took a look at myself and I stopped blaming the sport, and then I was able to sort of come back to it, you know. But it took me a fucking long time, man, and you know, I still fucking struggle with mental health, you know, not like I did, but I think mental health is like especially when you're aware of it. Like a lot of like our parents just didn't know. Like I'm sure my dad has it, like but he just doesn't know what it is, you know. And
This is that education of so we're talking about that, and then going back to you, Gul, is that if you knew a little bit more of like um, life after fighting while you're fighting, you know what I mean? And that's what we want to try and do, right? We want to fucking educate
Yeah.
people more and more and more, whether it's fighting, as I said, soccer, and just moving to that next phase of life, because you said it yourself, it's fucking exciting. And reality is when you get in 40s, it fucking slows down a bit. And when you've been like you have in those exciting moments, fucking big change, right?
I think it's all coming to a climax. My age, my kids getting older, fighting's over. People around me are dying. Like people my age, their wife. My mate's wife just died. JT's wife died 3 years ago. Another mate's wife, and friends are dying, committing, and it's just all coming to this thing. And I have this I do have like a spiritual side that I feel I've got a better purpose, and I'm just wasting it with uh, selfish things. Training. Okay, training. I'll train whoopie doo like it's for me. Like I feel like it's a selfish endeavor. I've been doing it my whole life. Ego. Just like I want to be the man. Train. Look at me. So I feel like what makes when I do fuck up, it's because I'm ruining my higher purpose for whatever it is. I don't know what it is. I just feel like I'm going backwards. I don't want to go backwards. So I'm going forward, go backwards.
Yeah.
I'm never reaching
I think
what I'm meant to be doing,
It's a lot of self-destruction, man. And like we know what we're doing. We just don't know fucking why we do it.
But do you also have the let's say you have a night out, right? And you fucking few beers or whatever, and you go, and then you fucking eat the KFC or whatever, and you give it the old, fuck it, I'm gonna die eventually, Like, do you ever get that? Because sometimes I go like, fucking time's ticking anyway. Fuck it, I'm having the French fries,
Yeah, no. I feel I'm at this point where I feel everything it's all self. It's for my ego just seems to control my life, man. Like it's like I don't like it. Like I want to that's why I just want to escape. I just want to get away from people. No one I have to please anyone. I just want to go to country like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And just sort of like become a hermit, So I'd have to deal with all these issues.
I think a lot of it's society, man, like pressure, societal pressure.
There's a lot of pressure on
but
middle-aged men.
But we also put that pressure on ourselves. That pressure's there, no doubt, but we let it in. Like people can just ignore that pressure, but for whatever reason, we open the door to it and we let it in, and it just it builds up in your head,
And some people are better than others. Like 100%. I know me personally, like I'm fucking going a million miles an hour in my brain. Even like I'll be sometimes lying next to my wife bed. She thinks I'm asleep. I'll get up and fucking write something down next to my. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Oh, I just thought of this. It's constantly going the brain, I reckon. But everybody's different, right?
Yeah.
So
I think
I think about that. And I think about, everyone says to me, when people say, I don't care what people think about me, blah, blah, blah.
That's bullshit.
Which is just bullshit.
Yeah.
I think too much about what other people think,
fuck that, mate.
No.
I think we're all guilty of that, man.
I'm not. Fuck that. I'm all right with that shit.
I do say that. So I say, fuck, I don't care. I'm just going to do it anyway. I have to tell myself that. But, it's a struggle. That's what I think about every day, man. Like, what's my purpose,
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to figure out now. And this is helping. And how did you feel when you started this? Did it help?
Well, man, I don't know if you remember, but like, fuck, I was talking to you about this years ago, bro. Like at, Arbory Afloat, like when we were at that summer when we were doing the door there together, So, and this is just like, man, I am a very selfish person. like I wish I was more selfless, but this is a way that I'm just trying to take my mistakes and really try and help other people. Like, I don't give a fuck about if fucking 100 people listen, one person. I don't give a fuck if it makes money. It's all my time trying to do all this. Daniel helped me out, like, with all the equipment. This is just totally like something. And don't get me wrong, it is for myself too, because this is like my fucking therapy session too right now. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like if you don't share the mistakes you've made, then you can turn mistakes into a lesson. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like when you lose a fight, right? It's only really a loss. They're both two L words, loss or lesson. It's only a fucking loss if you don't learn anything out of it. If you can take positive things away from it to better yourself for next time, a loss is a lesson. And I'm trying to use my mistakes just to help other people, man. And at the same time, talking about shit helps me too. So
You're saying that it's helped talking about it, you know? Like
listening to you guys, even our conversation before, just knowing that other people are going through the same thing as
Well, we used to talk about it all the time, man. Like, and that's why when I started, like, you were one of the first people I thought about, because you were like real supportive of the idea and all that sort of stuff about doing this thing, you know. So
I was had a big smile when you said you're doing it.
Yeah,
You know,
mad.
Honestly, the truth, I love people succeeding. Because I just want to listen to how they did it and what they're doing. People with money, I'm like, oh, cool. How much do you make? And everyone's a bit embarrassed about it, you know. But I'm like, if you do well, it's fucking awesome, man. Yeah,
which is rare to hear too, man, because
people are jealous. You know?
fucking there's haters. Oh, they're fucking doing this, da 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 da. You know, oh, they're trying. Mate, we're just having a go. Yeah. Like, we're only here once. Have a fucking go, right?
There's plenty of cake for everyone to eat, man.
100%.
Like, you know, we can all become a success story. You know, like and I used to get like that too in the gym. Like, if someone else was doing well, like, fuck, I want to be more like that, and I'd use that to sort of fuel me. But I guess, like, the more mature me is the same as you. Like, I like seeing people around me like do well and succeed.
And it's not a monetary thing. Like you were saying, this is something that, you know, you wanted to do. You know, you guys chatted about it on the door and stuff. Fucking, you're living it, mate. Fucking good on you. Happy days.
Yeah, bro. It's amazing.
So,
well, look, on that, brother, I'm going to ask you something. And this is the way we're going to end the show. One piece of advice that you would give to the young Hebrew Hammer when he was in his prime. One thing that you know now that you could give to yourself, just to, you know, try and help yourself for the future.
If you're gonna say to do something, then do it. I would tell them. I've promised a lot of people things and I haven't come through.
Yeah.
So
be a man of your word.
Yeah, be a man of my word. Man, so many things.
I know, there's a lot. It's a lot. Like, if only we knew what we knew. If only we knew what we know now back then.
But I think it's a real valid point, because I reckon there's a lot of people that are, you know, gonna own it to be like, fuck, I want to start my own business, but I've got a kid. Oh, I fucking don't have the money or whatever. Just fucking do it. You know, I
talked about running, you know, opening a gym for years, you know, just take the risk, just do it, man.
Have a go.
Yeah, have a crack, huh?
Only live once, man.
Yeah.
That's it, brother. Well, you are a man of your word, man, because I asked you to do this, and you even though you had car trouble this morning, but you still come through, so you've done it. I appreciate you, my friend.
It's been fucking awesome.
You,
yeah.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Gul. It's fucking awesome.